Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me. We're going to Isaiah 58, verse 5. This is 5 Minutes of Faith. I want to talk to you today about fasting. I know fasting is not necessarily one of the most exciting topics. Sometimes people dread the idea of fasting, and some people don't fast at all. But I want to encourage you that fasting is nonetheless important and that there is purpose. And we need to understand why God has called us to fast. And what is it that fasting does for us? God will never call you or tell you to do something that won't benefit you also. He's not interested in you and I just afflicting ourselves. No, He's interested in us humbling ourselves and to walk with Him and to be able to fellowship with Him without letting ourselves get in the way. So let's take a look here in Isaiah 58, verse 5. And this is the fast that God has chosen. Watch this. Is it a fast that I have chosen? A day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush and to spread out sackcloth and ashes? Would you call this a fast and an acceptable day to the Lord? Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring into your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not to hide yourself from your own flesh? Then your light shall break forth like the morning, your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry, and He will say, Here I am. For if you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger, and the speaking of wickedness. Well, there's a lot that God clarifies here, doesn't there? Why does He want us to fast? There's so many benefits, but I like what He says here. One of the purposes of fasting is for us to hide ourselves from our own flesh. Man, one of the key principles of fasting is to deny ourselves. It's to humble ourselves. Look what it says in Psalm 35, verse 13. It says, For as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled myself with fasting, and my prayer would return to my own heart. We can humble ourselves with fasting, and that's important that we do this. We need to approach the Lord with humility. God resists the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. And that if we humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God in due season, He shall exalt us. We have to humble ourselves. It's God's job to exalt us. It's our job to humble ourselves. And one of the ways we do that is through fasting. It's a deliberate way of saying, God, I trust in You, not food. It's a way of denying the flesh the indulgence and the pleasure of eating. Sometimes people, they could be addicted to food, just like you would another drug. Or we take pleasure, or we find, that sense of security in food. We need to find our security in the Lord, amen? In Matthew 16, verse 24, Then Jesus said to His disciples, If anyone desires to come after Me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow Me. We have got to regularly and at all times deny ourselves. But fasting here is a deliberate period of time that we focus on that very thing so that we could train ourselves to always say no to the flesh. When you say no to eating and you tell the flesh, no, you're not in charge, no, you don't get to eat, you are reminding yourselves and you're putting your spirit in charge, and that is the key to fasting. In Galatians 5:16, it say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. We've got to walk in the Spirit, amen, perpetually, continually. Fasting, again, is the way that we put our spirit in charge. It's a way of humbling ourselves before the Lord. It's a way for us to hide ourselves from our own flesh and to seek God's righteousness in our life. Amen. I want to encourage you, take some time and pray and fast. Amen. Thank you for joining me. This has been another 5 Minutes of Faith.